Hey, this is Brandon from the Drum Educators Network. I'm going to give today a short 30-minute mini course giving away 3 of the secrets from the drum studio owner's blueprint. There's many different aspects to that. The blueprint, which if you're watching this, it's because you bought the book. So thank you for your purchase. So today I'll just be going through 3 different things from the book to clarify and go a little bit deeper. So here we go. Same title, so how to run a successful drum studio and without feeling overwhelmed by marketing and business tasks. In the next 30 minutes, I'll show you some tricks to unlock your studio's potential, some proven systems that have worked for me and my drum studio, my number one method that I use for attracting ideal students, and this ultimately will help you to teach with less stress, so you'll have less to think about and can just focus on your teaching. And then you can avoid outdated methods. Oftentimes, especially for people watching this who have been teaching for a while, I'm sure you know how we can kind of get stuck in our comfort zone. And so, yeah, this mini course will hopefully give you a bump to try out some new things. So yeah, my name is Brandon Goodwin. I think I said at the beginning, I've been teaching drums and coaching professional drummers and musicians for 23 years. I'm the founder of Studio Drum MTL, the founder of Little Drummers Academy, which teaches kids under 6 years old private drum lessons. And I've also taught workshops and master classes in different parts of the world, jazz workshops, master classes, and I've also taught at business classes in colleges. So before I started, I'll just go quick with like a backstory before we get into this. So um, I right before I started taking my teaching seriously, I was stuck in a office cleaning job. And yeah, I wasn't really happy at all. I was still gigging a lot and trying to make it, but I was getting pretty frustrated and I couldn't really find a way out. So this is oftentimes how people feel when they're trying to become a professional musician. They don't make much money and they have to do things that they call day jobs because they don't want to admit that that's their actual job. That's what's paying the bills. So I was cleaning offices and that was paying my bills at the time. So yeah, my breakthrough came when I rented a booth at a street sale and I taught drum lessons on an electric kit for free. So people would book like 10-minute spots. And at the end of it, I got 15 new students. So that paid off and it gave me a new path. I realized how teaching could become a good source of income and a good career path. So yeah, after doing that for a year, I doubled my income, and then the next year I doubled it again. And since then, I've consistently grown it, except during the pandemic. But other than that, my studio grows at a rate of 20 to 30% gross revenue per year. So yeah, eventually I opened a second studio at the end of the second year where I had started hiring people. So I did the studio for 4 years on my own. But in the second year that I was in and was hiring people, we suddenly got up to 7 teachers and 130 students. Now we're at 12 teachers and over 200 students. So yeah, teaching became the key to my success in my life. And through the systems that are shown in the book, it gave me the time and money to reignite my love for music and want to impact people's lives with music again, because I had been a little bit jaded before that. So yeah, what about you? What is it that where are you at in your life? And yeah, I guess you can't answer that, but I just put that there. So let's keep going. So today I'm going to I'll talk a little bit about each of these 3 secrets. The first one is the passion to profit framework. Just check the time to make sure I stay on time. which is how to scale a drum teaching career without sacrificing your passion. Secret number two is the success through authenticity framework. So, teaching success with what you already have. Secret number three is the time saving teacher framework. So, building a studio while managing a busy life. So, those are the three secrets. So, let's get into the first one, the passion to profit framework. So, I developed a lot of this from during the pandemic. I was reading a lot of books, and especially business books, because all my gigs had disappeared. So, I wasn't really making too much money. I think I was teaching like 5 hours a week online or something. So I had a lot of time to read. And so I read a lot of business books and I started getting coaching, paying for coaching from business coaches, marketing coaches, that kind of stuff, and taking classes. But the epiphany for me came when I found a book by Jay Abraham. I think it's called something. I should have checked it before. I think it's called 21 Power Principles for Your Business. It's something like that. So the book is great. It's very much for like business kind of thing people, but the very first one got to me. So it was talking about the three different ways to increase the earnings of your business. I always just thought it was like get more students, work more, but that first power principle talked about leverage and how to think differently about getting clients, and also about how to maximize basically the income that you're getting from your current students as well. So yeah, that really gave me a new perspective, and it kind of broke the chains for like thinking about owning a business and these things where if I get a new student all the time, it's like I have to work more, which I was doing, and it just kind of burned me out. So yeah, that was the book, 21 Power Principles for Your Business or something. You can look it up. It's a great book. Well, great if you're into that stuff. It's very dry, but yeah. So the Passion to Profit framework has 7 different points to it. So let's talk about a few of them today. The first one is simple marketing strategies. The second one is auto scheduling and auto payment and curriculum, many different offerings. Number one most commonly missed opportunity to increase revenue, which in the book, it just gives you that. But in this webinar, I like to build suspense. So um, yeah, if you haven't read the book yet, you're going to get a little intro to some of this. Referral programs and community building. So start with marketing, which everyone is always wants to start with because that's how you get students. So I use 5 different ways. I used 5 different marketing methods. First one is Google ranking for my website. I actually don't talk about website anywhere in the book because you have to have a website. Some people say, oh no, I just use social media. That's your choice. But if you're missing out big time, we get 2 or 3 inquiries a day from Google for people wanting drum lessons. And a lot of those people turn into students. So you're just missing out, and I don't have to do anything to get those students. I got us to rank number 1 on Google, which I'm going to really quickly go through how I did it. And then now I don't have to do anything. So that's just like permanently like a flow of students. If I do nothing, we're still growing from Google. So yeah, I did 3 things to rank number 1 on Google. The first thing that I did before I knew about like SEO and stuff, I made a blog, and then I would talk about different drumming topics, and then I would make YouTube videos, and I would embed the YouTube videos onto the blog so that when people were reading it, they would click the video. And then also people on YouTube would find the videos and watch them. And in the description for the YouTube video, there would also be a link to get to the blog. So it was like kind of making cross traffic. So I did that. The next thing I did was search engine optimization, which there's a trillion books and resources on how to do that stuff. So just look it up and do it. And the third one is Google My Business. Spend 2 or 3 hours on that once, and you're good. After maybe post whenever you get a nice photo for, you're going to post something on social media, you could think about posting it there just to keep active. But Google My Business is imperative. People look you up. They look up how to get to your studio. They can phone you from Google My Business. everything. So super important. So those three things, if you do that, you will, if you spend your time and you're serious about it, you can get ranked number one for like your city. Say if you live in Boston, then Boston drum lessons. If you really work at this, you can rank number one and you're going to get a ton of traffic just from that. So we're going to skip ahead to, like I said, we're short. This is it's a mini course today. So I'm not going to go through everything. Part three, which is curriculum and is oftentimes looked over, um, because we will often use other people's books and resources, which is great. So, you might get your students to buy stick control, to buy syncopation, maybe buy future sounds, or, the fast track beginner book, that kind of thing. So I did that for years, and I still, with like more advanced students, I'll use other people's resources. But at some point, I was tired of like buying. Actually, for a long time, I bought the fast track books, book one and book two, because they're really well done. But I was just constantly like skipping ahead, skipping back, crossing out exercises, writing something different on the notation, like adding a bass drum here, and it was because it wasn't how I wanted it. So at some point, I wrote two books. One is a beginner book, and one is an intermediate book. And now we have a curriculum. So at the end of book one, there's even an exam. So this provides, as it's written there, a structured learning pathway. So people know where they're going. And also, if for some reason you have, or not for some reason, but if you have more than one teacher, like if it's not just you teaching, then there'll also be a consistency throughout the other teachers, so that, say if a student switches to another teacher, they're still getting like something similar. Yeah, so this attracts and retains a certain type of student. I recently heard it was type A learners, people who like to learn very systematically. Yeah, some people like to measure their progress and that kind of thing. So it also gives your school a professional image. So we don't really make any money from our books. We make like $5 profit per book, and we sell a book a week. So talking $20 a month. So you can make money, but the idea is that it legitimizes what you do. And also, as you grow, if you get more students and you get more like teachers and that kind of thing, then you'll have a system so it doesn't become chaotic. And then I wrote a few of the different types of curriculum. So you could have like level one, level two, level three, etc., beginner, intermediate, advanced. Um, yeah, that kind of stuff. Just use your own exercises, or take the lines from other books that you really like and use those. It's just like, however you teach, make a book for that. Start with just writing it and photocopying it, or you can use something. I use Sibelius. I pay for a subscription because I like the format, and it's just very user friendly. So we do pay for a subscription, but you don't have to do that. You can handwrite if you have really clean writing. But we do a whole bunch of group classes. Some of them are just rolling ongoing classes. Some of them have themes. Like I teach one on Wednesday nights. We'll do often 10 weeks of a single rudiment, for example, single paradiddles, and we'll explore that. So I'll come up with a curriculum. I'll do usually 6 to 10 weeks, 6 to 10 week topics, and I'll give them homework and have worksheets for them and everything. Yeah, so creating a curriculum legitimizes what you do. The number one most commonly, right? Oh, I think I I took this one out because this is in the book. So I show you how you can get. A lot of teachers think that you can make about $40,000 to $50,000 a year, but my studio makes way more than that. And in fact, if I was only teaching alone, I know that there's 12 teachers, but I already know how I could teach alone and make a lot of money from doing that. So it wouldn't lose that many students. So if you teach alone, or say have one teacher teaching on the days that you don't, you can I don't want to say easily, but it's completely possible to make $100,000 a year teaching drum lessons. It's very, very possible. And in fact, if you follow the things in the book, If you actually implement them, you have a really, really good chance of getting to $100,000 per year, gross revenue before tax. So of course there's expenses and stuff, but this is not. It can be way more than 40 to $50,000 a year. You can do way better than that, and have just more financial security in your life. So, yeah. Let's talk about false beliefs. Okay, let's go really quick. Marketing requires advanced tech skills. It doesn't. It requires very, very basic knowledge of like how to use social media and post things. And you can. A lot of the website stuff is super user friendly. I have no training in website design, and have built several websites, and that's just using things like Wix and Bandzoogle and Squarespace and that kind of thing. Only talented drummers can teach successfully. That is completely untrue. And actually, a lot of the top drummers are not good at teaching. And I've heard some stories about um, some really famous world class drummers who people took lessons from, and they said it didn't go well because they don't know, their brain isn't made for teaching, it's just made for drumming. So a lot of times people who maybe like, I'm not a world class drummer. I don't, I'm not in Modern Drummer magazine or anything like that, but I teach a lot of really great players. So it's a different skill set teaching versus being the most talented drummer out there. Okay, let's move on to the success through authenticity framework. So be successful with what you have. So I'm just going to do I think I prepared one or two slides for this, but then the one that's the most important is oh yeah, quickly I'll go. So success through authenticity is being genuine and using what you know to create deep connections with your students. So you're teaching them, you're finding the people who work with you, with what you teach, and so you play to your strengths, and then you can teach really with passion. So whatever it is, if you're a rock drummer who has mastered all of rock and roll, double pedal, and single stroke rudiments, then that's what you should be teaching, not jazz rhythms and that kind of thing. So, or teaching Brazilian stuff like that you read about in the book. Teach what you know, and you're going to find the right students for you. Um, so yeah, back in the day, I was trying to teach everybody, and a lot of times I felt kind of like fraud. So I would even teach things. People would say, "Do you teach snare drum technique, like for DCI marching band?" And I said, "Sure, let me teach you." But it wasn't right. I was doing it, and I felt like a fraud. Or people would ask me to teach them djembe, and I would just teach them, drumming rhythms. But that's not. It wasn't authentic. So that's it. I didn't feel really great about teaching early on, even when I had a lot of students, because I wasn't teaching to my strengths. So that's what this is all about. Um, yeah, I thought more students was equal success, and I wasn't really like, I enjoyed teaching, but I didn't feel like really passionate about it. And because I was teaching things that I like didn't know 100% about, I was like comparing myself with other people who did, and then I just felt not so good about it. So yeah. Um, so yeah, the success through authenticity framework. This is in the book. So we're only going to look at the part of uncover your authentic story today. So this is the mental audit. So this is the beginning of how to find your most the students who most fit with you. So the exercise is to close your eyes, imagine teaching a class of 20 diverse students. So um, some kids, some adults, some beginners, some intermediate, some advanced, some people who love to ask questions, some people who just sit there quietly and listen, uh, all the different types of people who with lots of energy that they're shaking, or people that just sit there kind of motionless at the drums. Think about all of the different types of people that you've taught. Just imagine your students, you'll probably, if you've taught a bit, you'll get some examples, and then think about which ones energized you, which ones made you feel really good when you taught, and which lessons felt effortless, that it was like really easy to teach. And then the next part is where where did you struggle? Like which people who you taught did you struggle with? Whether it was the material that you were trying to teach them or it was personality wise. Anything that you struggled with when you were teaching. And so write that down. I'm gonna pause for a second. You can pause the video if you want to write it down. Um, so yeah, write down which students energize you and which lessons felt effortless. And then where did you struggle or feel like an imposter? Or basically, what were the lessons you didn't enjoy? What students sapped your energy, and which lessons did you teach, or which topics that were you really struggled with? And then that's it. This is the beginning of finding your ideal students and finding your authentic self. So you have to shift your mindset and embrace your unique strengths and let go of the things that drain you. So this is working towards being happier with your teaching, which will hopefully make you happier in your life. Enjoy your job, enjoy your life, that kind of thing. So yeah, you define your strengths and be yourself and not someone else. So just clarify your teaching identity. This is the kind of thing that once you do, you can put it on your about page, and it can also just change the overall presentation of your website for like the things that you promote, that you offer, and that kind of thing. Yeah, there's some more false beliefs. I'm not confident in marketing myself. So sometimes it's hard to do that. I'm a very introverted person, like I'm very shy. When I'm at my studio, I'm not because it's my job, but oftentimes I get home and I stare at the ceiling for a while after a long day. So, yeah, but that's it. Just do things that you feel comfortable with and be your authentic self. And yeah, you can do things like focus on your students and that kind of thing. So it's like not always you. And I put at the bottom authenticity over Christmas. So you don't have to all of a sudden be this bubbly person on camera. You can be yourself, maybe smile a bit, you know, um, comb your hair or something. But yeah, that it doesn't have to be this like false image or anything like that. Um, and then another false belief, I'm not creative enough to stand out. So if you really look at yourself, your strengths and weaknesses, and you do the authentic uh, authentic teacher, the exercises in the book, you will be able to find yourself a way for yourself to stand out because you'll see your strengths and your weaknesses and you focus on your strengths. And there will be other people who have those strengths as well, but you will stand out from the crowd who just kind of say, I teach drum lessons. So I highly encourage you to spend a lot of time in that chapter of the book. Yeah, it should have almost been the first secret, but I kind of approached it from like the standpoint that most people want to learn how to get students first. So I put that at the beginning. And then the time saving teacher framework. So speaking of time saving, we're almost out of time. And this one is, I'm not going to get too much because this one is more technical. You have to spend some time learning some software that you're using. Like if you're using scheduling software or auto payments or social media stuff, the idea is that you just spend some time actually learning how to use it and automate things with the software. And some people like myself, it's painful. It's painful for me to watch tutorial videos about MailChimp, about how to do email marketing. But the thing is if I spend an hour doing that, it might get me 20 new students over the course of the year. And so that will bring a lot more revenue. So that's just an example and some made up numbers. But really, the time saving teacher is about automation and then making templates. So, like all of your emails, when people are interested in the studio or when they've taken one class, or your cancellation policy stuff, like just make templates I use place called Trello, so I make my each email template I have is a card on this like wall. So I just grab that card and copy paste if I'm using my templates. Um, yeah, so that's it. So before I got into really automating, I was really overworked. I was working 60 to 70 hours a week, and I was beyond burnt out. I was burnt out for like 2 years before I had any sort of relief from it. Um, so yeah, it wasn't until I learned how to do automation and use templates and took, well, I had already learned, but that I took that stuff seriously, and instead of just spending all my time booking classes and doing communications with students, I would spend time learning how to do like use the self-scheduling function on my music staff, or how to yeah, do auto invoicing payments and that kind of thing. And once I started spending time doing that, then when I would go back to the emails, there'd be fewer and fewer emails to do. So now I send, uh, I don't even know, probably 5 or 6 emails a day for the studio, and maybe answer 3 or 4 text messages a day. And that used to be probably like 30 to 50 communications per day before. So I went down to like 5% of the work I used to have, just by working smarter and not harder. So yeah, that's it. Efficiency over hustle. That's it. Identify the inefficiencies, reduce manual work, leverage automation, and create scalable systems. So all of that stuff will make your life way easier once you implement the marketing tactics and you get a bunch of new students, especially if you plan to hire another teacher. Super important that you prepare this stuff in advance. So even if you have 10 students, just learn how to do like auto payments and stuff. It'll make your life way easier if you start getting really busy. Yeah, so the time-saving teacher framework that's you'll see in the book is automating repetitive tasks, creating reusable content, building a strong online presence, and delegating responsibilities. What are we going to talk about today? Scheduling payments. Okay, yeah. So the first part of the time-saving teacher framework is automate repetitive tasks. So that's like lead generation and follow-up. So that's people who like contact you and getting people to contact you. Scheduling and payments, which is what we're going to talk about today. Onboarding and communication, that's mostly templates. Ongoing engagement, mostly templates, and also scheduling emails, that kind of thing. And then also when people stop at the studio, the exiting process. So yeah, the two most important things for my studio that gave me my life back was spending time um, making a seamless scheduling management system. So I use my music staff, and I'm not affiliated with them at all, but I highly recommend using them. We have like 12 teachers, and I think I pay like $80 a month. You pay per teacher. So if it's just you, it's like $15-20 a month, and all of your scheduling can be done through my music staff, including the payment processing. So if you are strict about it, or if you want to be, you can actually make all of the students do the auto payments. We're not strict about it, but we still have about 30% of the students use it. So everyone else does e-transfers, and yeah, we have a follow-up system for that too if someone forgets to send it or something. So it's still like automated. Yeah, and then there's other things like student portal. So we put the homework assignments up so that they can get them from the portal, so that we don't have to like be sending them stuff. And yeah, this just gives you back your time, creates efficiency, and it builds trust because you're professional. It's not just one person in their basement teaching their kid. It's like you're a legitimate business, and so people will take you more seriously. Yeah, onboarding and communications, email marketing software. This is all the stuff. Delegating tasks. I'll do this really quick because this is if you grow and you're just too busy, then these are sort of the different sort of roles that you should consider. Uh, We currently have a virtual assistant, so she does the administration work. The marketing I do because I enjoy it, and that's my background is working in marketing. Aside from being a professional musician, I've worked a lot as a copywriter and social media manager. So that that part I take care of. The bookkeeping I pay an accounting agency to take care of. So that's also taken care of. That's been delegated. And then the manager, I have a teacher manager. So there's one teacher who manages all 12 teachers. That includes me. I have to also abide by his rules. So it's that makes life way easier so that when teachers need to sub or they have all these requests and stuff, they go to him first. So yeah, and then the last one, the one that I want is on my to-do, my wish list, is a student success coordinator. So someone who focuses on the success of the students. And that's kind of my role as well. So I do mostly the marketing and the student success. But I would like one day to delegate that to someone who just we're very community based and I really focus on the success of the students at my studio because I care about them. So yeah, one day I want to have someone who's really like as passionate about learning and that kind of thing, kind of focusing on the success of the students. I just want to go real quick. So I want to ask you a question. If you were to implement the things that I told you today and the secret number one, number two, number three, could you see yourself achieving the success that you've always dreamed of? So if you were to implement the things I talked about today and the things in the book, do you think that you could become a successful drum teacher? That's my question for you. I can't answer that for you because that's a personal thing. It has to do with how dedicated you are at what you're doing and that kind of thing. How serious you take drum teaching and having a career as a musician. Yeah. So I'll ask you some more questions. Are you excited about what I've been talking about today? I know I'm not the most charismatic person on camera, but the topics that I talked about today, was it fun to watch? Do you get excited by this? Do you feel like that you could do this and that you could have a successful drum studio? Another question. Do you feel overwhelmed by what I've talked about today? You might have just got the book and are getting into it. And yeah, there's a lot there. I think it's 120 pages. So it's not the biggest book, but it's 120 pages of actionable items. So there's a lot there. Yeah, a note is that at the back of the book is the 30-day plan. So you can start with that, and that will help a lot. If you go through it, uh, it's gonna you're gonna get knocked down a lot of the important things that you need to look at. So, you might feel overwhelmed now, but give it a month and put in the time, and you're going to probably feel a lot better about it after that. And then one more quick question. Can I have about 10 minutes more of your time? So I'm done the course. If that's all you wanted, then just stop the video. But if you are willing to listen for a few more minutes, then I just want to talk about the Drum Educators Network and what that exactly is, because you might have seen the book says Drum Educators Network presents how to run a successful drum studio. You might have been on our website already, drumeducatorsnetwork.com. So yeah, I just want to talk about that real quick and tell you all about it. So the Drum Educators Network has it's educational resources. So there's a course. So all the content in the book are in the course, but it goes even deeper. I didn't want to make the book like 700 pages. I wanted it to be an introduction, and for people who can figure things out themselves, they don't need the step by step. But if you really want step by step help, there's a course in the Drum Educators Network. There's educational resources. There's also community and support. So there's a closed Facebook group, and I also meet once a week on a live call, and we all help each other out, answer each other's questions, brainstorm new tactic and strategies, and we do hot seats. So each teacher gets to have a few minutes to pose a problem that they're having with their drum studio, and then everyone helps them to solve it. So that's a lot of fun. And then personalized services. So there's an accountability call every Friday, and you'll have an accountability partner. So you'll be partnered with one of the teachers in the Drum Educators Network, and it's up to you guys to kind of basically hold each other accountable for whatever you're working on. So, and then every Friday there's a quick call where if you have time, you come on the call and you say what you've done that week. So it holds you accountable for if you're actually putting in the effort or not. There's also content and media. So there's stuff that you can use, like content ideas and some photos and videos and stuff like that. So there's just some like basic template stuff that you can use as a reference, or you can use it if you want, but I would say make your own stuff. But there's some examples and that sort of thing. And then there's practical tools such as like there's a checklist that's also actually you'll get it for free in the if you bought the book, and then also the 30-day challenges at the back of the book too. So those types of things are also in the course modules as you go through it. And then the last part is marketing and promotion. So you'll get a social media calendar, and you'll also get like access to the ads that I've written that work the best for my studio. So I actually just give those away so that you can find your own students as fast as possible while you're implementing all of the other strategies in the book. If you join or when you join the Drum Educators Network, you'll be able to grow your studio faster, learn from top experts, attract more students, simplify your marketing, save time every week, increase your income, create better lessons, gain confidence in business, connect with peers, and scale without stress. When you join the Drum Educators Network, you'll be able to get rid of marketing confusion, the fear of failure, student retention issues, underpricing your services. Notice how I didn't say overpricing your services. You'll be able to get rid of inconsistent income, feeling isolated, tech overwhelm, time management struggles, uncertainty about your next steps, and the stress of running a studio alone because you'll be in a support group. Drum Educators Network, the number one selling point of the Drum Educators Network is that every week there are weekly mastermind calls. So that's where it's a 1 hour call. People join. There's roundtable discussions. I'll teach little topics and stuff like that each week in the thing. And then there's hot seats, which is the most fun part. So it means that everyone in the class gets a few. We divide up the time based off how many people attend. So if there's 3 people, everyone might get 10 minutes. If there's 4 people, everyone might get 7 minutes, that kind of thing. And basically you get, when you're on the hot seat, you get to give your biggest challenge of the week. I did a Facebook ad and it's really not converting. And then everyone's going to check it out. I'm going to check it out. Everyone else on the call is going to check out your ad, and we're all going to give you input and see, so you're going to get help from other professional drum teachers, and it will help to give new ideas and also to clarify what you're doing. So that's the weekly mastermind calls. Don't worry about that price. I once was in a mastermind group that I paid $350 per month, and there was one call per month. One call a month, I was paying $350 for an hour call. It was worth it. That's why I was doing it. I did it for a few months, and I learned a lot. But that's a little bit extreme, especially for musicians. So we don't make a ton of money. So I'm going to say the price in a minute, but it's not anywhere near that. And we also do, there's 2 1 hour calls a week. So I make sure to give times so that you can get on one of them at least per week. And then there's also the accountability call on Fridays. So that's 2.5 hours of calls per week versus 1 call a month for $350. Then there's also, I'm about to launch the framework. So they're not in book. It'll be a video course So I'll be selling that for $200. So that's actually included in the Drum Educators Network. So who is the Drum Educators Network for? It's for established drum studio owners, growing drum studio owners, and new drum studio owners. It's for everybody, which that book is for everybody, and so is the Drum Educators Network. So if you were to do the weekly mastermind calls and for 3 months and buy the fast track frameworks, it would cost you $1,247 after 3 months. It's a lot of money, I know. The training modules. Oh, that's the training modules in the actual course modules. So not the course pack I was talking about, the 3 secrets. This is actually the training modules in the Drum Educators Network. So I would, if people were to buy that, I would charge the same thing. I would charge $200. Sorry about that. There's a little break in the video. It's my little baby daughter was crying, so I had to run over and get her back to sleep. So yeah, that's it. Where were we? Talking about the exclusive training modules. So all of the 3 secrets, all of the information from the book is in there, but it's very actionable, and it gives the tactics, the down nitty-gritty tactics. So yeah, that's it. And you can use any time to fit your schedule. And if you're just starting out, or if you've been teaching for a long time, there's stuff in there for everybody, just like in the book. So it's very step by step. So if you were to have weekly mastermind calls for 3 months, fast track frameworks, and the exclusive training modules, it would cost $1,444. That's if you were to pay for that stuff all separately. Done for you ad templates. So anything, as soon as you talk about marketing, it gets super expensive. If you were to do templates, all the graphic design, customization, everything for from professionals, you would easily pay up to $500, which I've done and paid way more than that. So I can tell you that it's very, very expensive to get really professional things. So I give away some templates and designs that you can use for your own stuff. It's included in the Drum Educators Network. Oh yeah, my marketing experience. So now with the ad templates, we're at $1,941 of value, not the price. And then the last one is automation installation. So if you were to get professionals to set up your scheduling software, your payments, your social media scheduling, your email lists, everything, if you were to get professionals to set that stuff up, it would cost you at least $1,000 or more minimum. So yeah, that stuff is talked about in the time-saving teacher framework, in the book, and in the course modules, given step by step. So now you would be at $2,938 if you were to pay for all of that stuff outside of the Drum Educators Network. If all this course did was fill up your schedule with amazing students, make you $100,000 a year, and you only had to teach 20 hours or 15 hours a week and do 2 hours a week of administration. If that's what the course did for you, would you pay $2,938? I 100% without a hesitation, I would, if I knew it was guaranteed to get me that. But as we know in life, there's no guarantees. So, but I still would pay that if I knew I had a very high chance. If I knew that if I put it in the work myself that I would get there, then I would definitely pay that. But we always have choices. So basically with the Drum Educators Network, because I do this a lot, I spend 15 hours a week on it, making course contact, doing the calls, communications, everything, social media. I could have made it like super cheap, like $20 a month, but then I would need to get like 100 people to sign up to actually get paid for the time that I put in. So I made it a little bit more because I want to have fewer people and then prioritize the quality of the program and also the support that I can give to the individual teachers. So yeah, this is the offer for the drum teachers, but also for music teachers. There's a music school owner in the Drum Educators Network because this does apply to everyone. I just think that we're a different breed. So yeah, it's 97 a month Canadian. So that's probably 65, 70 a month US or euros. And that gets you the weekly mastermind classes, the course modules, everything that I talked about today. You get for not for free, but for $97 a month. So you can have 2.5 hours of mastermind calls if you show up to everything. And then there's also like a bunch of hours in the course modules too. That's it. So this is a very low cost alternative to getting everything done outside of the, paying for things, professionals to take care of individual things. This is all shown inside of the Drum Educators Network. So that's it. You have two choices today. Do nothing, read the book, implement the book. If you want to, you'll find all the stuff in the book. You can look this stuff up online for free. So anything that's in the book, you're going to be able to find for free. But if you take the leap and join the Drum Educators Network, it's all in one place, so it costs a little bit of extra money. But if you get one student from that, then that will pay for the monthly subscription. So if you teach like 30 minutes a week to have, professional help at your disposal every single day, then I feel like that could be worth it for some people. And you can try it for 30 days. So there's no free trial, but if you join it and within the 30 days you don't see value, then I'm going to send you back every penny, no transaction fees, nothing. You're going to get exactly the fee that you paid. I'm going to give that back to you without hesitation if you feel like it's a scam or if you aren't getting any value from it. I'd be very surprised if you weren't, but I will not ask questions. I'll just send you back a refund right away. That's it. So, is it worth gambling a few minutes of your time to check it out? Even if it does only half of what I've claimed today, it will pay itself off as soon as you get one student. That's it. So go to the drumeducatorsnetwork.com/the-den and you can sign up for the course or for the Drum Educators Network, the Den. That's what I call it. I think that's a cool name. So yeah, that's it. You're saving that much total $97 a month. You get all that stuff included. That's it. The decision is yours. Here's a whole bunch of slides about what's in there. So yeah, that's it. That's it for the mini course today. Definitely took more than 30 minutes, but it was my pleasure to give the course, give the mini class. I hope that you learned something. Please, if you have any questions, just email me at drumeducatorsnetwork@gmail.com. I'll be happy to answer any questions. If you want, we can jump on a call if that's easier for you, whatever you want to do. But thanks for watching today. And also thank you for buying my book. That really, I'm very honored that you would consider the knowledge that I'm trying to bring to you today of any value. And I hope that you learn something from the book and that you have the drum studio of your dreams. Take care.